Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, December 17th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so very much for tuning in and joining with us again this week. This will be our last weekly update for 2021. We are looking forward to just jumping back into the fray come January, and we're going to have a really busy 2022. And I'm just going to quickly walk through a couple of the things that we are expecting to be heavily focused on, and what you can expect to really be taking place over the next several weeks and months. First and foremost, if you are a Mass Retirees member, your January edition of The Voice, which of course is our newsletter, comes out 6 times a year. The January edition was mailed to you today. So be on the lookout. It will be appearing in your mailbox perhaps as early as Saturday. But really throughout next week, and hopefully everyone receives the January newsletter before Christmas. If you haven't done so already, go back and watch last week's weekly update. I was joined by Nancy McGovern and Bill Reary from our team to talk specifically about the newsletter, give a little bit of a preview of the content that's in the newsletter. Now, we kick off things right on the front page by focusing once again for the third consecutive issue, the cost of living adjustment, the COLA. And the elements of the COLA that we are focused on trying to make improvements to going into 2022. Now, everything with the COLA would take place come July. We work on a fiscal year basis here. Social Security works on a calendar year basis. So for those of you receiving a Social Security benefit, you will receive a 5.9% COLA increase in January, in the January Social Security check. But for the COLA that's applied to your pension, that would take effect this coming July. So we are going to be heavily focused over the coming months on making improvements to the cost of living increase. And that starts with making sure that the full 5.9% COLA can also be applied to the pension benefit. In addition, we are working with local retirement systems as well as the state legislature to make improvements to the COLA base. And the third element of this, of course, is the senior or so-called enhanced COLA benefit that would provide a little bit of an added boost to long-term retirees who are also career public employees. All of that information and more is detailed in the January Voice, starting right on the front page. Also on the front page is a full report on everything having to do with the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. There are 4 separate bills pending before the U.S. House of Representatives right now. We get into the details of all 4 of those bills, talk about the ins and outs of each one of them, what hurdles exist in terms of passing them into law, and what our outlook is for the coming year, the second half of the current congressional session. Now, at the federal level, our main focus is passing a WEP reform bill during the current session, which would most likely take place at some time during 2022. I know that there's also focus by a lot of groups, and we would love to see this happen in terms of fully repealing both the WEP and the GPO. But as we explain in the newsletter, we do not see that as a realistic possibility going forward. So we are going to do everything we can to cut the best deal that we possibly can, with the hope of getting as much money possible back into retirees' pockets who have fallen victim to the windfall elimination provision. But again, the most up-to-date information is on its way to you right now in the newsletter. In addition to both of those issues, a huge part of our focus here in Massachusetts, both at the state level and the local level over the coming year, will continue to be retiree health insurance benefits. Right now, the GIC is working on plan design as well as insurance premiums for the coming fiscal year, which again kicks off on July 1st. It will be fiscal year 23, begins on July 1st. So there's one more year under the current contracts with the existing health insurance plans under the GIC. Once those decisions have been made, the GIC will shift into their procurement process for the coming fiscal year, for FY24, which begins July 1st of 2023. And I know it gets confusing with all of these dates jumping around, but you're all retired public employees. You're used to this sort of bizarre fiscal year schedule here in Massachusetts at the state and the local level. But the procurement for the GIC is most likely being released in April, if not into early May. This will have a profound impact not only on state retirees, but local retirees as well. As we have continued to explain, the policies and the procedures and the decisions made by the state GIC, they can very quickly also become local policy. So all retirees, regardless of where you're retired from, all of you are in this together. So you're going to see us put a lot of time and effort and attention paid to what's happening under the GIC's procurement, because it's just that important. Beyond that, we're going to continue doing everything we possibly can to make sure we're getting all this information to you on a regular basis. So you can look forward to every Friday getting one of these emails, getting this video from me and from other members of our staff, trying to explain in a little bit of greater detail and as simply as we can exactly what's going on, so there are no surprises. And we also want to make sure that we're getting input from you and engagement from you, and that we're listening and hearing your feedback is very important. And that's going to make sure that we have a better outcome with all of this stuff. But in addition to the newsletter and these weekly updates and so forth, you are also going to have the opportunity to interact directly with us through our Teletown Hall events. And we have 2 town hall events coming up. And if you can bear with me just for a moment, let me make sure I get the dates correct. First, on Friday, January 14th, we have a Teletown Hall meeting that will focus exclusively on the cost of living adjustment, the COLA. And we'll have all of the facts and figures from the end of 2021 in terms of the investment performance. That information should be available by the middle of January, so we'll have a better indication of the financial status of the retirement systems and what that might mean for the COLA. Then on Friday, February 11th, we have a retiree healthcare focused Teletown Hall event. The date of the February 11th meeting is important for the sole reason that on Thursday, February 10th, the GIC will have met and voted upon its plan design for the coming fiscal year. So the very next day we're going to meet, we're going to have a full update of what's happening at the state level with health insurance. We'll also have some local health insurance information to share. So these are really going to be the 2 hot topics that we're going to be focused on immediately into calendar year 22, because there's going to be a lot of activity here in Massachusetts. In the meantime, again, we're going to do everything we can at the federal level to continue to push forward with either a full repeal of weapon GPO or at the very least a reform of the windfall elimination provision, and we're working closely with our national partners on that. So we are anticipating, once again, a very busy 2022, and on behalf of everybody here at Mass Retirees, I can say that we're also very hopeful that we can once again resume our in-person area meetings. If you had told me 2 years ago that we'd be in the middle of a global pandemic with this deadly virus that was going to prevent us from getting together and interacting face-to-face for almost 2 years, I would have thought you were crazy or we're living in some kind of a science fiction movie, yet here we are. Now, the important thing, of course, is that all of us continue to take steps, not only to keep ourselves healthy, but keep everybody around us healthy. You know, that's why it's so important to get vaccinated if you can, or wear a mask in certain settings, and just take common sense steps to keep yourself, your family, your friends, and everybody around you safe. We're going to get through this together. But the only way we're going to get through this, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later, is by working together and cooperating with one another and not letting the situation, bring us down. I know it's difficult. I know it's frustrating. All of us are tired of this situation. But unfortunately, we're dealing with an organism that doesn't care about any of that. It's going to do what it's going to do until we get to the point where we can take control and we beat this thing. And thank God we have the vaccines available, and for most people, the vaccine is something that's available to you and that you can safely take. And I know in my case, in the case of my family, it's given us the ability this year, in this holiday season, to get together with my family and my in-laws and our friends, and be able to do so safely and enjoy each other's company and be together as a family and share those special moments. And I hope that you have that ability as well. But On behalf of everybody here at Master Retirees, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I wish you a happy and healthy and prosperous new year. And I very much look forward to the opportunity to see you and interact with you again, face to face in person. It's one of my favorite parts of the job, and I know that Frank Valeri and everybody here on our staff feels exactly the same way. But for now, enjoy this time with your friends and family, and I will be back to you that first Friday in January with an update and a report, and we're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to make 2022 a successful year for all of us. Thank you so much for your continued support and your membership in Master Retirees. Be well.